Ahoy there, friends! It has been a minute since I have done anything for the channel at all, and I thought it was time to change that. In fact, I've been wanting to make this video since the very beginning of the year, so that tells you how good I am about procrastinating. I know that pretty much everyone here watching this video subscribed after my Dreamcast Blue Retro video, so I wanted to kind of give a primer just to let everybody know what my channel is usually about, what type of things that I am working on currently, what type of projects I have planned for the future. I also want an excuse to talk about things that I never made videos on because I was a little lazy. And most importantly, I do really briefly want to talk about the purpose of my channel. I mean, purpose is kind of too heavy of a word for it, but my intent. I just want to be clear about my intentions with you guys. I want to be super upfront and very clear with you guys that I'm not trying to be a content creator. I'm not trying to make this my main job, my side gig, any of that. I'm not looking for your money. And I also will never unironically ask you to like and or that button or that before. I make videos because it's really fun. I just enjoy making them. But also, I really like using YouTube to follow cool modders and hobbyists and artists and makers and nerds to get creatively inspired by them. When I put up my Dreamcast video, I hoped that people would use it, but I really didn't know if anyone would even watch it. But since I put that out, I've heard from quite a few people who have gone on to do the mod themselves, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to give people the tutorial that I wish I had had, so that felt really good. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to build an audience, but what I would like to build, if possible, if even a very small one, I would like to build a community. I want to hear from you guys, not as engagement bait or anything, but because I find it really fun and exciting and cool to talk with fellow nerds and people who have such extremely niche interests that our roommates and loved ones and families are sick of hearing about. I want to know, what mods are you working on? What art are you making? You know, what are some of your big, crazy, really lofty dream projects? I want my channel to be a free and open space for yapping. Just nerds back and forth about things that people don't care about. Now, with that out of the way, I want to break the rest of this video down into 3 sections. First, I want to do kind of a recap, talk about some projects I've done that I never covered on the channel, give me a little excuse to brag about a couple things. Then I want to move on to my current projects, the insane, massive backlog of crap that I'm working on right now. Some things that are half finished, some things that are 3/4 finished, some things that are 95% finished, and you just can't seem to finish that last 5%. Believe me, I've got tons of those too. And hopefully, putting them on the public record will give me a little bit of self-accountability to actually make me finish them. Fingers crossed. And then to wrap things up, I want to talk about future projects. So, if you are still here and you're in for the ride, let's go. Okay, to kick off the recap section, I will, as briefly as possible, go over my previous videos because probably most, if not all of you, who subscribed after the Dreamcast video have not seen them. So the first thing I made was a Nintendo controller coffee table. I made a coffee table that looks like a Nintendo controller and then also put a Bluetooth circuit board in it so that the entire giant table controller actually works as a controller. That was a lot of fun and a lot of work, so check that out if you want. I also made a thwomp can crusher that makes the thwomp sound whenever you crush a can. I've seen so many 3D prints of people just putting a little thwomp on top of their crushers, but it doesn't make the sound. What's the point? So I made it my personal mission to make one of those exist in the world. And then I think the only other 2 videos I have on the channel are shorts, 90 seconds, one of which is a little figure of Gon from Tekken 3, little anime dinosaur, that I modified from an action figure and then sculpted some accessories for. 90 seconds, very short. And then a custom N64 console that I made. I made this giant shell that is Peach's castle. like just the whole castle. I'd been wanting to do some kind of cool paint job or shell mod for my N64, and I just went as big as possible. And my very favorite detail from that really brings it all together is the stained glass window of Princess Peach, that little stained glass art. I made that out of transparent lighting gels and backlit it where the N64 logo usually is. So whenever the system is on, it's got a nice lit up stained glass. Jazz hands. Okay, now moving on to things that I have not made videos on. I'll kick things off with some clay sculptures. This is Crocodog from Jak 2. And this was one of the very first things I made when I started working with polymer clay. It was before I had literally any sculpting tools, so I made this with my bare hands and a mechanical pencil. I wish they'd made more Jak and Daxter merchandise in general, but even if they had, I really doubt that they would have made this guy. Which is a shame, because he's so cute! Look at him! He also has a really crazy face. He reminds me of my dog. Next up, we've got Sans from Undertale. Yes, I am an Undertale fan. Calm down, I am not that type of Undertale fan. So I originally made this for my younger sibling as a little gift, and it turned out better than I thought. So they very kindly said, hey, you should keep it. But to make up for it, I did make another Undertale thing for them. I made little clay sculptures of Frisk and the river person, and then I made a little wood carving of the cat boat, or dog boat? The boat, you know. You may know this guy. This is Gex the Gecko. He's got this little remote that I made for him. I am mostly happy with how he turned out. However, there are... Oh my god, it just fell off. Do you see this? That's hysterical. I was just talking about how part of it fell off in the oven. Well, that's fun. I'll super glue that. When he baked, this entire arm fell off, so I had to kind of patch it back on, and the joint's a little bad. This was kind of a fast and loose sculpture anyway, but it did look a lot better going into the oven than it did coming out, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but I'm still happy with how he turned out, overall, I guess. Honestly, cannot believe that they remastered Gex. I love Gex, but I'm not gonna play the remasters. Who are those for? I thought for sure if they were going to do more Gex, they would have updated the jokes. I mean, how are they expecting to bring in new people? Anyway. And one of my other big completed projects, even though right now it's kind of in disarray, there's some gluing to be done, but this is a diorama that was sort of a cover-ish thing for my Switch dock. My Switch dock was just barely above this height, so I would slot my Switch dock behind this thing, which was cooler when it was actually being used. This little screen, I'll put some footage up of that, but the screen works. It's just a little photo frame that I duct taped to it. Great. And yeah, unfortunately, oh, it's dusty even. For shame. It has just been sitting kind of pushed off in a corner of my desk, not being used or appreciated at all. So I should fix that. I should literally fix that, and then I should display it properly somewhere. Anyway, so that is the Chris Get the Banana scene. Deltarune dock. This is actually my most recent project. I made a replica of the Kimono Pikachu statue that's at the Pokemon Center in Kyoto. The details are so insanely small. I couldn't even use paintbrushes for most of it. I had to use my sculpting tools that have super fine points, basically needles. But I think it turned out great. Another small project was making Forest Friend from the game Grease. I carved the body and the head out of wood, put some wire in it. I got a copper sheet and cut out some leaves, sanded those, painted those, had a really cool texture. But my favorite thing was that the head could actually rotate. I drilled a hole on the underside of the head and then glued in a really strong, really tiny earth magnet, and then did the same thing for the body base where it connected. So the head was always on because of the magnets, but you could rotate it, make it look around. I was really proud of that. I've got this little guy. He is from Pokemon Infinite Fusion. It is a Geodude plus a Sandshrew, a Geoshrew. I ran him on my team. His name was Conquer. He's just such a cute little idiot. I love this guy. I'm mainly recording it in the hopes that it works, but also, like, if it blows up, you know, it would be funny to have on video. So. Yes! Oh, they're all connected to just one! Hell yeah.
yeah, doing shit.
Several years ago, I made a snowman, or snow bean, I guess, of the magic dragon from Fall Guys. I spent way too many hours making that thing, but it was a lot of fun, and don't hate me. But I posted it on Reddit, and then it got around to the Fall Guys devs, and they actually gave me the magic dragon costume in-game. Most of you don't play Fall Guys. I'm sure that means absolutely nothing to you, but it was super exclusive. You had to do this extremely rigorous one-time challenge, so only a really select amount of people ever got to have that costume. But they gave it to me just because I made a thing, and I was really passionate. I just thought that was the coolest, nicest thing. And I love it when game devs interact with their community like that. Now let's move on to current projects. Definitely the biggest project that I'm working on right now is that I'm building my own arcade cabinet. I originally wanted to build it. I do a bit of carpentry and woodwork, so I thought that would be fun. But lumber's expensive, and I found this super weird, really cool arcade cabinet on Facebook Marketplace that I just couldn't pass up, so that is the base for it. The original concept was that it would be a dedicated Sega bass fishing cabinet, but I remembered I've always wanted a Tekken cabinet and so many other cabinets, including light guns, so it's going to be a multi-cade. But don't worry, it will still have Sega bass fishing. Okay, and let's jump into some modding. First up is my GameCube. I've done a custom paint job on this. The button is recessed right now because I'm working on the USB-C power mod, which I think I might change back. But it's got Pico boot. I may be upgrading to flippy drive. I also have the internal Blue Retro kit from Laser Bear, which I lost for about 3 years and found the box just the other day, so I'll definitely be putting that in. This is embarrassing actually, but a long time ago, I modded the power supply. I just took the huge power brick and put it inside the GameCube. Also keep in mind, this was before I knew hardly anything about electronics, so it was extra scary, but I really went for it. And I changed the plug to a figure 8 cable because that's what I had for my PS4, and that's what I wanted all my consoles to take. I even did that to my Nintendo 64 as well. Kind of like how everyone is moving all of their consoles to USB-C, except dumber. This is my original Xbox. Fun fact, I had not had any Xbox console until this year. Never had the 360, Xbox One, none of it. So I picked this up for $30 on Facebook Marketplace. And it's got a little USB adapter from Modsville, USA. I also have a Brooks adapter, basically another Bluetooth dongle that just plugs into there so that I can use Bluetooth controllers with it. I have a transparent green shell that I ordered months ago, which should be here maybe before the end of the year. And I have a recap kit, replace all of the capacitors on the main board. But it is soft modded, and I swapped the regular hard drive out for a 2 terabyte hard drive. So, really looking forward to getting more of the OG Xbox experience. Let me know what games I've been missing out on. Another recent mod is this GameCube controller, which uses the 8BitDo wireless Bluetooth board that you just drop into original GameCube controllers. And then also I used the Extreme Rate shell that is also a drop-in or drop-over replacement. That's not a real word, which replaces the shell of an original GameCube controller. So I basically just made a brand new one that feels OEM, the buttons are OEM, but it's got nice USB-C charging and Bluetooth. Which, by the way, I had to modify the shell, and also this is a USB-C port that I installed. The original USB-C port is like way further down in the shell, and it only accepts data but not charging. Why, 8BitDo, I really like you guys, but why did you do this? You already had a USB-C port. Why didn't you just make it charging? I'm not the first person to think this, I'm sure. Just think about it. And speaking of modding, this video is sponsored by that blue mat that all modders seem to have. Are you a modder? Do you mod thing? Well, you need blue mat to mod thing. Magnetic tray keep your little parts from falling onto black hole in the floor where screws disappear forever. Tiny compartments keep you organized. Mat is blue. Don't be cool and go against the grain, just get the mat. Everybody has the mat. This is my huge clay project that I've been working on forever because I have really high standards for it. I barely missed out on the original Gaming Heads run of this statue, and I refuse to pay thousands of dollars for it on eBay, so I am just making my own. He's gone through so many different states of being more finished than he is now, because I have broken him several times, from being messy at my workbench and just knocking him over, and also when I moved to a different house, he got damaged in that process. My goal is to finish him up this year, so I will post a video when that's done, with footage of me actually making him. I know that's the coolest part of sculpture videos. Sorry that most of these have already been finished. What else? There's an Aku Aku mask that I really need to finish. I started painting these murals on the climbing wall that I built. I started with Fall Mountain from Fall Guys. I want to finish that, and then I also have sketches for the other ones. I've also gotten into power carving. I want to finish up this Korok. I also have a crazy idea for a chainsaw carving that will probably never happen. And here's some things that never got finished because they were destroyed, and some things I forgot to put in the finished section. And now we can move on to the future. The future. Yeah, that. I'll do these pretty rapid fire style, maybe 10 seconds per item, 15 at the most. Yeah, 15 seconds at the most. All right, let's go. I want to put LEDs in my modded Dreamcast for the blue retro board. I want to make a clay sculpture of Sir Daniel from Medieval's skull, and it's also a bottle opener. Like, here's his little teeth. Yeah. I want to make some replicas from Jak 2, the underground hideout, of the posters and maps that are on the walls with, you know, either paper or like tea-stained fabric-y something. Also from Jak 2, I want to make a replica of the neon sign outside the bar, and either a big papier-mâché hip hog or maybe commission someone to make a plush. I want to make Toonami Tom 2, the best one, either a kit bash or a sculpt, or I've seen a 3D print someone made that I could modify manually because I don't know how to actually model. I want to make a fight stick themed around Mokujin from Tekken, made out of one of the live edge pieces of wood that I have. And a chain. It's gonna be pretty cool, if I ever make it. Also from Tekken, I really, really, really want to make a sculpture or some replica of the Heihachi head trophy. I have some pretty cool ideas about how to make that one. That one I'll definitely do, it just might take some time. I want to keep making more of the Pokemon Fusion sculptures because they're really small and they just help me keep sculpting. I want to make my entire team that I ran while I played the game, and then make just some of the cute ones and cool ones and super freaking cursed ones. I bought this upgrade kit for my Game Boy camera quite a while ago, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it. And I want to do some color photography with the Game Boy camera using this really cool method that I saw in another YouTube video. Okay, I really wasn't sure if I was going to put this in the video because, one, it's supposed to be a surprise for my niece and nephew who I'm making it for, and also because we all know a certain company can be litigious at worst and issue takedown notices on YouTube at best, so, well, I'm rolling the dice anyway. Let's say that I'm making something that rhymes with a Shmokimon Shrom Shrak. Yeah, let's go with that. And it is customized for my niece and nephew. It has their names as the characters. I'm adding in custom music, which is mainly cool tracks from other video games that are Game Boyified. The hometown in the game is based on their hometown, and it will have a nice little story that I wrote for them. So this kind of came about as a result of two separate projects. One, I already had a Game Boy game that I wanted to make, a completely different idea that I won't talk about now because I do want that to be a little bit more secret until I've done some work on it. And then a while back, my niece and nephew asked for Game Boys for their birthdays, which is crazy because they were 10 and 12 at the time. How did they even know about Game Boys? But I got them cool Game Boys, and I custom painted them with their favorite Pokemon, and got them a flash cart with every Game Boy game ever made. And apparently they've really fallen in love with Pokemon. So as I was working on my original Game Boy game, I decided, hey, why don't I dive in and try to make something cool for them? My other game started in Game Boy Studio, and then for this I moved to some kind of Pokemon-specific RPG maker, and then realized to get the amount of customization I wanted, I would have to do a decomp ROM hack, which was a little crazy because I don't actually know how to code, so I'm very slowly learning enough coding to do the Shmokimon Shrom Shrak. This will probably take me a long time, hopefully I didn't spoil it with this video, but yeah, working on game development. Kinda crazy. We'll see how it goes. Ahoy, friends. Clearly not the same day. I am in editing mode, hopefully getting this out to you very soon. But I wanted to clarify my bit from the beginning about not being a YouTuber. I just want to be clear, I'm not hating on people who do YouTube. Get your money, get your bag. Good for you. I support it. I just want people to know that that's not what I'm doing. I'm on the same wavelength. I'm not needing your support to continue making videos. I will just keep making them because they're for fun. And at the same time, don't expect me, you can't expect me to have the same output as someone who's getting money to do it. You know, I'm not ever going to have a weekly, monthly, any kind of regular upload schedule. That's just not me. I'm one of those YouTubers. See? Oh shit, I just called myself a YouTuber. I'm just one of those people who will upload a video whenever it happens. There might be 2 in 1 week, they might be months apart, there might be 1 a year. I'm really going to try to make more than 1 a year. I'm gonna try to make more of these, but just wanted to clear that up. Oh, hi, Zooby Zoo. Hi, chicken. Hello. Do you want to say hi? Yeah, say hi to YouTube. Why are you pushing me, man? Why are you pushing me? Your breath stinks, girl. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say. Take care of yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, dummy.